Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So you guys, please do subscribe both channels as each one has unique videos, both EEARTS and also Evolutionary Energy Arts. And we do want to thank those that are supporting us over on Ko-Fi and Patreon. We couldn't do it without your support over there as well. So on Evolutionary, we were talking about the farmers today and the chaos going on over there, and also touched on the Georgia Guidestones, just touched on it. So we wanted to go a little bit deeper in because as we were talking about it, Cindy and I were just sitting here talking about it, all of a sudden the guides were coming through with a whole bunch of information that we thought we would share with you guys. As you know, this is a famous monument that was erected back in 1980 in Georgia, northern Georgia. Well, here's the question. It has begun. As you see, the Georgia Guidestones are definitely looking a little worse for the wear.
Right. I mean, and I'm looking at the guidestone that's collapsed, and they said that there's meaning in that too. The one that's been shattered, and I don't know which one was shattered, what it said on it, but there's deeper meaning in that. But then we're talking about it, and all of a sudden this information starts trickling in, like there's a crack in the chain of command, or there's a crack in the energies that are higher up. There is a crack in the whole system, this higher up elitist type of system. And it's actually coming from someone who is quite high up there, who does understand what's going on, that is an elite who has been given assistance through other entities to have this done, through another being, as far as hooking somebody up with the information to have this whole job done. And I thought what was kind of interesting is they were saying that this person, this elitist, he's just not able to stomach what's going on. He wanted to do his part. Now, we're probably never going to find out who exactly, but we might, and the guides wanted me to say this is a display of the incoming light that is coming in, and it's going to get to everyone. Eventually it gets to everyone, and then this is how the system crumbles. So looking at this as an example, ultimately their system will crumble, but we still need to do our part and grow and flourish and be creative and work together.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll have to see and try to figure out which one's been destroyed. I wonder if it was the one in English. As again, what we've been sharing with you guys is they plan on basically wiping out Babylon the Great. And that's, everything they do is really always a blood sacrifice, an energetic blood sacrifice to these dark beings, as the elites of this world serve dark entities. They truly do serve demonic beings, which help them manifest their will here on the planet, which is ultimately the dark beings' will, which is that there's nothing but chaos, division, constant strife, warfare, all sorts of negative emotions, which ultimately feed these dark beings. So when you look at the guidestones themselves, we see here there is a mysterious monument in Georgia. Well, there was. Well, there still is. There's a few of the pillars still standing. One pillar's been taken out, which gives instructions in, actually, I thought it was 12 languages. It says 8 languages on how to rebuild society after unknown apocalyptic event, while it functions as a compass, calendar, and clock. Yeah, it's built basically similar to what we see with Stonehenge and other of these megalithic monuments. Erected anonymously March 1980, and so that was 42 years ago. Inscribed in 12 different languages, hole in the center column always leaving North Star visible, precise horizontal slot indicating sun cycles, inscribed 10 guides for a new age of reason, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. And when we ask the guides, well, how many people do the elite really think they want to keep on the planet? That is the number that comes up. That's what they've given us. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. We see all sorts of things going on with DNA, and we see all sorts of, things happening that are limiting fertility rates. And we could easily see that over a period of time, even without war, famine, plague, and disease, the way the birth rate is going, we'll eventually get to 500 million. Of course, it would take longer than what they have in mind. Unite humanity with a living new language. As before the Tower of Babel, right? We had one language, or at least we were able to communicate with each other. And what we've gotten is it's more of a telepathic thing, because our pineal glands were functioning. When you talk about like ETs, aliens, extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, most of them are telepathic.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like when I do look on the other side and I'm looking for someone possibly who has lost a loved one, or if I'm looking into anybody's angels, guides, when I see them, there's this silence over there, but you can definitely have the communication through the pineal gland, and that's how all of communication really truly is when it comes to working on that side of things. So our pineal glands are very important when it comes to communication, and it's almost like if we exercise them, they know that they're going to get stronger, so they put all of these entities in our way so that we don't use our pineal glands, and that way they're not going to get stronger. But there's evolution that's taking place, and they're saying, really look at this, really look what has happened, because this is actually something that it's just naturally going to happen on its own when we do our part as far as growth and working with one another.
So when we look at these things, you could look at them in the light that they're going to destroy everything and rebuild it a certain way. And you could also look at it in the light that, of course, like if you look at number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Sure, and why are we a cancer on the earth? Well, it's the system. It's the choices the elites are making for us. And we're just going along because we trust them. And boy, is that a mistake. When you realize again that these beings are not benevolent in the slightest, that they view everything as their possession. When we look to the indigenous people all around the globe and their traditions, they don't view that they own the earth at all. They're part of the earth. And we should live in a symbiotic relationship with the earth. And when we see what we have in place with all the pollutions and the toxins and everything, we're just talking about glyphosate and, the stuff that's in Roundup, and they irradiate food. I mean, how counterintuitive is everything that's going on this planet? Because it's an upside down planet ruled by people that don't want the best interests of the planet or all those living on the planet served. No, they're just greedy, selfish, and egotistical. And when they speak, it just betrays them. So cracks, yes, there are cracks in their hierarchy. And again, many people will wake up and just say that they can't go through with what's planned. And not everybody understands really what's planned on the highest levels. Absolutely not. So this is a great sign of what we are seeing and getting from the guides. So it's signed R.C. Rosicrucian, which again, they're trying to give the impression that it's the Rosicrucians. R.C. Christian, I should say. R.C. Christian, pseudonym. And, if we look to the Rosicrucians, Christian Rosencrantz, Rosy Cross, Rosicrucian order. Again, if you can join, anybody can join the Rosicrucian order. At least that's the way it used to be. And what did they teach? They teach a lot of things that people would say are New Age teachings. What are New Age teachings? Well, a lot of them are just things that we learned in other ages and handed down. And talking about the bronze, the silver, and the gold. But again, the power structure that is always twisting everything. So anything that's good, they'll let some of it come out, but they'll twist it for their benefit. This is just how they operate.
Right. They're always twisting it to their advantage. And that's the one thing you can look at and you can count on when we are looking at things in this life and we're trying to make sense out of them. It's like, what can you count on? Well, you can count on whenever you see things like this, know that it's going to be a little bit twisted to their advantage, because they do have that advantage to give us our information from cradle to grave. And as long as it's slanted toward them, we're always going to be serving them, to their liking. So that's why it's really important to wake up and understand and look at these things through a different lens, through a lens that says we are one people, we are one with the planet. Look at our vascular system, look at our bones, look at so many things about us, and look at the earth. I mean, it's all one. Nature, our bodies, it's all one. And what they're doing is they're putting artificial means in with us, in with nature, to again help control us.
So, you could look it up and see yourself. There's more than one Rosicrucian order that you're going to find up there. And this one, AMORC, it has a very familiar set of wings, does it not? Mm-hmm. And it'll give you an introduction to the Rosicrucian order. So, their studies include the mysteries of birth and death, the illusory nature of time and space, awakening of the psychic consciousness, human consciousness, and cosmic consciousness, mystical power of vowel sounds and mantras, creative power of visualization, influence of thoughts on health, development of the intuition, psychology and mysticism, metaphysical healing, sacred architecture, spiritual alchemy. Which to most of the people that watch EEARTS, a lot of these things are exactly what you're interested in. Mm-hmm. So again, you always have to use your own discernment and just feel for yourselves, search for yourselves. So and again, we're not condoning or pushing anybody to go do anything, because really, again, what happens when we develop these type of structures? They always seem to get twisted. They always seem to get distorted. Personal ego always seems to take over, even with the best of them in many cases. And you get these arguments that are ego-born that develop within, and then you have fracturing and splintering and things like that. We need to become more tolerant of each of us having our own unique path and not needing to conform to anybody.
Mm-hmm. And looking at this, understanding that even if there wasn't a visual representation of what is happening in the higher ups, it's still happening. The system is starting to break down. We didn't need for this to happen to know that it's happening, but it is something that's already occurring in the ether, and it's showing itself manifest in the 3D. And that's really good news in the sense where we're going to end up understanding the truth and really helping one another. And finally, all of these things that the mother has given us, all of her abundance is going to be shared throughout all of us. And there's not going to be any kind of 3D hierarchy. That's going to be washed away over time.
We need to just kind of change the way we think. And it's been through this indoctrination into this system. When you think about it, did you feel that you owned your mother? Your physical mother gave birth to you. Did you own her? Of course not. Why would you own the physical earth, that gave birth to these bodies? No, again, we should live in a symbiotic, respectful relationship. That's part of, again, the system that's distorted everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we should, we can, and we will, and we're well on our way. And there are some other things we were going to look into a little bit deeper, and we'll follow up with that. But there's a lot to be seen here, not just visually. This is something deeper. This is systematic. And, in a way, when certain things crumble away, it's making room for new growth. And I think that's where we need to keep our mind.
Absolutely. So again, just like if you were looking at an order like the Illuminati, and again, there's more than one Illuminati order. Again, there's all these other ones that will spring up after the original. And, we can say that order supposedly began with a certain person yet again. But really, these secret societies, they go back thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years. Again, humans have this finite lifespan in these dark ages. So these entities will reincarnate through the same bloodlines again and again and again. And when we look at some of our politicians, we're literally looking at beings that were here at the destruction of Atlantis, and they're doing it all again. These egocentric, selfish beings that don't care for the planet, they don't care for you or I or anybody else but themselves and just those in their immediate circle. And they're doing it all over again. So we should take heart that some of them are developing a little bit more of a conscience and are saying, no, what you have planned is just too freaking evil, too diabolical. And at the end of this cycle again, everything that we do is there's always a reaction to it. So, whether we call it karma, law, cause and effect, again, there are those that are realizing that all they're doing is trapping themselves. They're just trapping themselves in a lower astral existence that they're not going to get out of. Well, maybe somebody here is waking up and deciding, no, I can't go along with this.
Right. I mean, the truth is we'll probably never see who this is, but it's definitely, I feel them up there in the power structure, really up high. And
okay, can I ask you, sense out, can you sense a country that they're based in?
Well, it does come through as the UK, it just pops right in there.
Okay, somebody from the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Is it somebody of a royal lineage, or is it somebody that we would look at more of a business?
It's actually somebody who's a little, they seem a little upset that the royal lineage is not being honored. So they're starting to see the system for what it is.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. So it does seem like it's somebody of a quote-unquote royal lineage.
Yeah. So, I mean, there'll be more information that comes in. I just need to sit with it. But all of this stuff come running in as soon as I saw the picture. It's like all this trickling starts coming in. But
So yet again, maybe this is just another case of somebody's ego getting fluffed, and they're more mad at their cohorts than they are at the fact that the system is committing atrocities.
Well, I don't know about that, because the feeling is this being can see everything for what it is, and there is a stream of light coming in. So regardless of we see this or not, the system is changing, and that's what we need to keep our focus on. We are creating such a rift of energy. We're creating so much co-creation information together that the system is going to crumble. And this is just the 3D aspect of what we are creating together.
Without making you too uncomfortable, do you pick up a feminine or masculine energy?
It's actually a gentle masculine energy. I have to put the word gentle in there, and I don't know why right now.
Okay. And do you feel that it's of will we call them towards the elderly side, or are they more youthful?
No, they are actually more youthful, so that's good to note, and I think that speaks to the star seeds that are coming in. So this person is very deliberate in coming in, and he has a big role to play.
Interesting. Well, again, more things to delve deep into in a meditative way. Again, when we talk about meditation too, like when we're doing mantras, for instance, we say the mantras, and traditionally we'll do the mantras 108 times or in multiples of 108. And then you sit in silence and you wait to see what comes. What you're doing is you're literally dialing the phone to a higher density. In most cases, 5D, 6D, something along those lines. and you're waiting to see who picks up on the other end. And if you've used a mantra, then you know who's going to pick up on the other end. And then you wait to see what impressions, thoughts, visions, energies, feelings come to you. And then you let your intuition flow with that. And so over time, that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So it's in that stillness and in making your mind quiet that you're able to receive something that's not necessarily your own thought, your own impression. It's coming from somebody else. As long as we're constantly speaking, we can't really totally hear what the other person's saying. It's the same thing with the meditation. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys as to why meditation is so important. Because some might say, well, I just do my prayers. But take time in silence after you do your prayers and see what comes through.
I know it can really be a beautiful thing when you allow these energies to manifest, and the sun has really been giving us a lot of energies for us to take in these upgrades, and a way that we can integrate those upgrades is in silence and having that information and kind of learning the difference between, okay, when is it me and when is it something else? And then you really get this feeling of like when information is just sort of shoved into your head, you know, maybe like somebody puts a piece of paper in your head and it's just there. There's really no rhyme or reason. It just jumps right in. And that's how these things work, and we're all getting to be more and more that way.
So when I just shut up a moment ago and I was just looking at this, what came to me was this person's also telling us to put it out there, that the pillar collapses, that the pillars collapse, that the control system collapses, and put it out there in the consciousness of the masses. So, you know, whatever that looks like to you, if you want to do a simple little prayer and just say, may the entirety of this dark system collapse. May the entirety of this dark system collapse. May this dark system in all its entirety collapse. Something like that. Or, you know, let the true light shine on earth and not this, you know, artificial fake light that they've given us. But something so simple as just, you know, looking at the pillar collapsed and just saying over and over in your mind and putting it out there into ether, may this entire system collapse just like these stones.
Mm-hmm. And it's like we can't really ever pinpoint this, what has been done on any one person. This is our consciousness manifest. We are working together and collapsing the system, but we do not condone anybody put themselves in any kind of danger or any kind of destruction. But sometimes this is what it looks like in the 3D when we're all consciously doing something together with our energy.
Absolutely. So share with us your mantra on how we can bring out to the masses a beautiful mantra of having the system collapse before our very eyes and exposing all these beings for exactly what they truly are, so that the masses can shed themselves of this dark oppressive system and start to live in harmony with the earth and all the creatures upon it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
As always, guys, much love, God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.